All right, I'm going to read you the TWAB. Let's dive in. The date is 9/23/2021. This week at Bungie, we are headed to the lab. Tomorrow, we are kicking off our first Trials labs. These experimental weekends will allow us to test out targeted changes to the game mode and collect data and feedback on what works and what should remain an abomination of science. In keeping with our Trials revamp this season, we are sticking to our test and learn mindset, not only with labs, but also with matchmaking, rewards, and other quality of life improvements. This week, the normal Trials of Osiris playlist is replaced with Trials Labs Capture Zone. This new mode is still elimination with the following changes. 30 seconds after the round starts, a capture zone is enabled. Players can capture this zone to win the round or just eliminate the other team like normal. The capture zone has a waypoint from round start, including a countdown timer, so everyone will know when exactly and where exactly it will be. The capture zone starts in the middle of the map in the first round and changes location each round. The team who just lost gets the advantaged spawn location. Also for this week, double Trials rank points for every match. If you are feeling the blues of Fabled and Mythic, this is a great week to reset. Now, I thought the Trials Labs was going to be kind of a separate playlist to the main Trials mode. They've been doing a lot of changes, and when it came back this season, it came back in great response. Everyone loved it. Everyone was happy. Everyone was playing it. They loved the loot. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But they decided to mess with it. So I think what we're seeing is maybe mid-season, because this is a long season, we're going to see Trials stabilize and hopefully get all the tests and bugs that they want out of the way. So this weekend everyone will be doing a test of their new game mode and elimination. I don't know. If you can still eliminate people, what's the point in capturing the zone? Because if you're not worried about capturing the zone like in Iron Banner, then you let them go to the zone and you throw like the Wither Horde. You throw the Wither Horde down, boom, grenades, boom. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I think the capture zone is it's going to be kind of a mute point and maybe fool up some new players. That's maybe about it. But I'm open to changes. I like it that they're trying new things. Hey, let's go ahead and do this. I say, why not do these changes during the week, like elimination or whatever, just have them in a Crucible playlist and then say, hey, this is what we're trying for Trials. What do you guys think? That way you have a whole week's worth of data and I don't know, maybe whatever. That's just my thoughts. Anyway, so let's continue on. Are you flawless? We tried something new for Trials this past weekend, something that has been requested in feedback since Trials launched back in D1. We tested out separating off flawless players and their fire teams from players who hadn't gone flawless yet that week. Before we discuss what to expect this week and in the future, we'd like to talk about the goals we have for matchmaking and Trials of Osiris and look at some key data points for the first 2 weeks. One of the main changes we made with Trials this season was to allow solo and duo players to queue up. This had 2 main benefits. It allowed players a low barrier of entry and expectation to try the mode out, and more importantly, it increased the population enough that fire teams of mid-skilled players landed more wins than if they only matched against their other mid-skilled or high-skilled teams. Solo players are a key to the entire system working. For example, in our first week, a whopping 54% were full fire teams versus solo/duos. Cut to this week, only 45% were fire teams versus solo duos. A pretty sharp drop. To get enough solo players in, we need to offer rewards that are good enough and matchmaking that feels reasonable regardless of skill level. Right now, we have engrams that you can grind for, as well as attractive 7-win rewards, but only if you win. Keep solo players playing. We learned a lot from the first 2 weeks of solo matchmaking. Week 1, solo wins 23% of games. Blowouts, 5-0 losses, 38% of games. Most worryingly, the blowout rate for solo players went steadily up over the weekend. But then in the second weekend, the matchmaking changes pushed that rate back down. Week 2, solo wins 36% of games. Blowouts, 5-0 losses, 29% of games. This feels a lot better for solo players, but obviously it had some side effects for fire teams of mid to high skill. Long term, we are looking to keep the solo win rate above 30% and solo fire team blowouts under 33%. Yeah, guys, so the queuing up with when you go flawless, you only fight against other flawless teams. This polarized the Destiny community. We were at each other's throats. Those of us who had access to Reddit and Twitter and all that stuff was just like yelling at the top of our lungs and really abusing content creators. I saw a lot of big names kind of sort of feel attacked and called out for not even doing what people were saying they thought they were doing. And it was really sad to see. And one reason why I didn't get into D1, a lot of kind of, you know, player stress and anger. I didn't want to get into that, you know, the drama. And let me tell you, it doesn't affect the game. You go in, you play the end, you have fun. And all that social media stuff is just like every other social media thing. So try not to listen to that. And where you have the ability to give constructive criticism, do so. You know, that's why they have a Twitter page. That's why they have, you know, Reddit and all that stuff. But do it in a professional and productive manner without trying to like break people down. Because it was really depressing to look at and read, but there are a lot of good points being made. And I hope, you know, someone was listening. That's bad. All right, here we go. Keep game quality high. Make sure more matches feel competitive, especially at 7 wins. We talk about blowouts as one way of looking for competitive matches. We also consider 5-1 matches as non-competitive. The sweet spot is really between 5-2 and 5-4. Those matches tend to feel good while playing, even if you end up losing. So basically what they're saying here is 1st to 5 wins, and they're saying, you know, blowouts are 5-0, 5-1. Those matches don't feel that great. You feel stomped on. But if you only lose twice, or maybe you lose 4 times, or only win twice, or maybe you win 4 times, you know, those matches feel really, really good. In week 1, we saw 60% of matches end at either 5-0 or 5-1. In week 2, the number of non-competitive matches dropped to 52%. A nice improvement, but we would like to see this number drop to 30 to 40% over the long term. Keeping matchmaking times low. One of our biggest goals is to keep matchmaking times low while still getting matches with good connections and a competitive outcome. We always keep an eye on matchmaking times whenever we make serious changes to the matchmaking landscape. In both weeks, average matchmaking times were steady at just under 50 seconds per match. The only reason it was even that high was because players who started off on a terrible streak would end up in a matchmaking pool below the base pool that only looked for other players who had started off losing 10 rounds in a row. It's a very small pool with matchmaking times that last over 4 minutes before the system gives up and expands back to the base pool. We're going to be adjusting how matchmaking helps apply so no one gets stuck in the smaller matchmaking pool going forward. Other things that worked. We had just over 700k players this weekend, and only 50k fewer players than week 1. This is higher than expected, given a normal drop-off after launch combined with Distant Shore being a less popular map, plus we had 253k players go flawless. Games were 10% longer, mostly due to more competitive games. Yeah, the Trials, guys, this weekend, Trials has been bumping. Everyone's excited. Everyone's playing. People that don't normally play are wanting to try it. It's been good. Destiny actually has been a high, and I'm going to be talking about this in another video, probably coming out sometime next week maybe, but how it is a good time to get into Destiny right now, so you're not lost, because an even better time will be when Witch Queen drops. But that's going to be another video. Let's continue on with the TWAB. Things that didn't work. We saw 30% less matches played overall, and the number of matches post-flawless dropped by 45%. We had reports of significant numbers of players resetting 5-0 or 6-0 cards, but we saw around 16k total cards that were reset while flawless but under 7 wins. Given the vast number of games and cards played, about 2.7 million cards started this week, this isn't a lot. But it is something we are watching, as it is unhealthy for the mode if it becomes more common. Normally, we see nearly 50% of players who go flawless do so with someone else who is already flawless. Last week, it was a 56%. This can either be a traditional carry or just playing with friends. That number dropped 16% this week, which is unacceptably low for friend game content. Yeah, that's right, guys. A lot of people will do carries. A lot of streamers and YouTubers, they will do carries to help their community go flawless. And with matchmaking flawless only with flawless, this has made it harder for people to do this, because you're bringing in someone who's, probably lower skill than yourself, and your job to help them go flawless is even harder now, especially against stacked teams. I watched Grenader Jake, I listened to True Vanguard, and it seemed like, yeah, it was a little bit more difficult, but it wasn't impossible, and it wasn't, grinding your teeth hard. It was challenging. And I think as players that can carry people, there will be some that won't be able to anymore, but I think the people that are doing it regularly, I think there will be a point in the weekend where they can easily carry people again. To address this, we are making 2 changes in week 3. We are waiting until Sunday morning to reset about 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to enable the flawless pool. This serves as a middle ground between week 1 and week 2, and as the semi-permanent placement for enabling the flawless pool. As always, we will be looking at both analytics and feedback, so keep telling us what is working and what isn't. We are working on some deeper matchmaking solutions, which we hope lets us remove the flawless pool. Look out for more info in late October. We are turning off matchmaking help until you have played at least 2 matches during the weekend. In addition to previous announced changes, players will no longer get special ammo replenished when being revived, adding hold functionality to purchase gear from Saint 14 to prevent accidental purchases. Weapons received from Reputation Rank Award track on Saint 14 will now have their Masterwork slots active. Previous weapons obtained won't receive a Masterwork slot, which sucks because I have stuff previous. I wish they could just fix what I already have. Unfortunately, while we previously announced that we would be removing the matchmaking counter for this week, this change won't happen. Wasn't quite able to make the 3.3.0.3 patch. Looking further forward, we expect to take another swing at matchmaking to get some of the solo lower skill protections from week 2 without strongly negatively affecting flawless players. We are looking at adjustments to rewards for round and match wins on 7 win cards. Other than that, updates and trials TWAB reports will be less common as we get trials into a more stable state. Iron Banner is back next week, so after Trials Labs Capture Zone, Trials takes a week off and will return October 8th. I'm going to bid you adieu. I'll be live this weekend playing Trials both Friday and Saturday up on Twitch. I will also be doing the Halo technical test. So if you want to watch some Halo gameplay, stop on by there. I am Asian Slick Slayer all over the internet. AZN Slick Slaya, Slaya, all over the internet. So feel free to look me up on Twitch, YouTube, Trovo, Instagram, TikTok, and all that cool stuff. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Thank you.